Steve, do you have comments?
Yes, just a few questions for the applicant. In their presentation, I didn't understand an accurate answer to some of these. The first question, as I was up there the other day, I noticed some of the shotgun stations you have are pretty close to the fence, the boundary fence, which is the right-of-way easement line for the roadways. And in state statute, it calls for being 150 feet or farther from any house or a public right-of-way. And I was just wondering if there is any special, because of the gun range status on the property, that excluded you from that 150-foot rule. My second question, in your presentation, you said that there's the possibility for flea markets, farmers markets, and other non-societal events. And will EMT services be on site for those events? Will you make those arrangements? And yeah, that's that. Or will you have SASS people? You say in your application that you do have a nurse that's part of it. Will she be on site when these other things are happening? And then, okay, I answered this next question for myself when I read the Environmental Protection Agency's report, and I spoke with the State Environmental Department. Morgan Nelson, who had contacted me, board members, and they had requested copies of the application that you have, and he had called me back yesterday, and he said as far as the State Environmental Department were concerned, they had no problem with SASS at the current time, that because the range in the fall of the lead don't affect any surface waters or wetlands, that it's when the range is shut down that they will, that's when they will come on the scene and want to see all of SASS's records and have the lead abatement taken care of at that time, because lead abatement is considered solid waste according to the EPA. And then my other question for you guys is in the shot fall area for the shotgun range. Are you using lime on that to negate the lead when you're out there, according to that EPA study?
No.
Or
We would
is there
only
some
use
other method?
we would only use the lime if the pH were below 6.5.
Yes, well that's
Yes, very definitely.
Could you do that at the mic so everybody can hear him, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, on the question of the shot fall areas in the shotgun range, should the pH fall below 6.5, we definitely would be looking at liming it. In addition, our shot fall areas for the shotgun range are carefully planned so that when the time comes, we can easily remove the lead from the surface. We designate where the shot fall is going to be so that it will be easy to reclaim it when it does occur. Okay. Another issue you brought up, I wasn't aware of. I will have to look and see what the 150-foot, how the 150-foot rule affects us. Thank you for letting me know, by the way. If it does, I can move it.
Go ahead and address the EMT thing too, since you're
At all of our events, SASS events, we always have emergency medical people on site. And we do have some members, I believe we've got, and Roy could address this probably better, we do have some members who have volunteered, as a matter of fact, in any event, to bring their own stuff to make sure that we have enough emergency medical supplies and personnel on hand. We have also in the past contracted with Bernalillo and Edgewood EMTs. And I suspect we will continue to do that.
And you'll make those arrangements for non-societal events that might be out there?
Absolutely. In fact, I would prefer to.
I think that we would like to ask some questions. Would you have any questions you'd like to ask of specific people?
I might want to come back to some of these, but one of the things I don't understand is what's your problem?
I'm just waiting for the chair to recognize me.
Go ahead.
No,
Well, Bill has the floor, but we'll
Yes.
go into that. Bill?
The permit, there is a permit in place, is that correct? That allows shooting, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. In 2004, it had came before both the Planning and Zoning Board, which, and the records are really scanty because the certificate says that it was granted shortly after the Planning and Zoning Board heard it. And so I don't know if it was brought before the commission under an appeal or what, but then there was a final decision, there was a decision made by the county commission to grant them use of the range for their club with certain conditions, which is in the package that you have there from my report. I'm sorry, I forgot where I was there.
Okay, well, my question really
They're
is,
operating under a personal or a permanent conditional use permit to operate the SASS, the gun range for SASS and the Founders Ranch and their affiliated clubs and membership. But it's a private range, not open to the public.
okay, my question is that if this application that we're considering were not approved, would there continue to be legal shooting activity in the future as it has been in the past?
Yes, there would.
But why have we considered the shooting part of this at all?
That's what I told you back in the beginning of this application, or, you know, didn't have anything to do with the shooting range other than it, part of their plans for expansion is opening it to the general public and outside, you know, non-SASS members.
Okay, another question I have has to do with road access from somewhere, and with that property being in the very northwest corner of Torrance County, how does it come about without a joint powers agreement between the counties to put a road, usable road in there that works? And also someone mentioned law enforcement jurisdiction in that.
Yes, Mr. Freiberger can address that at previous commission meetings, that he is actively working with representatives from Santa Fe and Bernalillo County, especially Santa Fe, or well, I believe it's Santa Fe County on the north side there, for improvements to Barton Road. At that point, in our county, the roadway Barton and Juan Tomas are in decent shape, and the other road on the north side of the deal. Our blademen have been maintaining that, but Barton Road, once you cross the county line there headed towards 66, it is, as Miss Indy stated, it's pretty rough. You know, I've taken that Crown Vic up through there, but, you know, I've had a lot of experience driving in the hills around here. Whereas some stranger to the area, you know, they could tear out their oil pan if they tried to take that too fast. And then as far as emergency services go, you know, the applicant has addressed that. But also we have a representative of the fire department here that came down to answer questions for Jason Trumbull, our fire marshal, if you would like to hear what she has to say. And then a moment ago, I thought I seen Sheriff White out there, but anyway, that's another deal too, where they're working in concert with the other county officials.
Okay, and I just saw Sheriff White step in the door, so I think this would be a good time to have him speak for a minute if you'd like to. What we would like to hear is your take on traffic and law enforcement for all the events and proposed events at SASS.
Well, in recent events, when they have their year-end gathering, we work hand in hand with SASS, and we're able to control those roadways. Where we came into an issue was with the Red Frog event with outside agencies as far as state police, Santa Fe County, to organize with them to make flow of traffic better. So my concern was with the Red Frog event, getting people in and out. Throughout the rest of the year, with all the rest of their events, it's gone smoothly as far as moving people in and out. There's never been any concerns reference alcohol on that property, the sales of alcohol or containing it.
One of the main questions I would have would be the access, or lack of it, of the neighbors getting on the road when they need to, and when the traffic is heavy.
Yes. There is that issue and that problem as far as the residents that live down there. When there's a large influx of vehicles, such as the Red Frog event, it was almost impossible for them to exit or enter to their property because of the outside traffic. Those things are things that can be improved, you know, with the cooperation of SASS and cooperation of bettering the roads or access from that facility.
I don't know whether this would be a question for you or SAS, but what are the improvements for those people who have trouble, the neighbors, you know?
What are the improvements for the neighbors?
What are the improvements that the neighbors how would they gain by what is planned for the traffic?
Well, there's multiple solutions planned. I'm not sure which one would ever go into effect, but one way in or out, in to the facility, which is separated from the out, which is off Barton Road, or vice versa, which would reduce the traffic trying to enter and exit from one point. Did I make myself clear on that, or?
I think you're saying that the traffic coming into SAS would all come in one way, and then they leave a different route.
Leave a totally opposite side of the facility, so that traffic would never immerse side by side, which would clog up that main paved road.
So the only two-way traffic would be perhaps the neighbors that would want to get on the road.
Yes, and this is working with cooperation from Bernalillo County, which is within their county, where the access to the paved road is, and where Barton Road exits to have officers there to maintain that integrity. And that was the one issue that we're running into is Torrance County ends just shortly right there, and then Santa Fe County, and then Bernalillo County. So try and get all those agencies on board to work that facility was where the issue came about. And that's where it was getting really clogged up at.
And when they have, this might be for Misty, when you have like the wire dash, do you take care of that traffic also?
That is a mistake that we made that we learned from, and that was relinquishing our traffic and parking control to Red Frog Events. We had been assured that they knew what they were doing, and obviously it turned out that they didn't. I feel like it needs to be said that within weeks of that occurrence, we lived it too. It was awful. We called, we hosted a gathering at Founders Ranch. We tried to apologize and explain, and that we would work in the future towards making sure that we could do everything in our power, working with county officials to ensure that those traffic congestions did never happen again. In our traffic plan, which is in your binders under 10, it's a place to start. Does that mean this is a solve all, fix all for all future events and we'll never have any problems? Probably not, but it's a start for us to at least start thinking about or coming up with plans in conjunction and in cooperation with the counties to say, here's kind of a starting point for us as far as a traffic plan goes. What can we do? Yes. Okay.
Okay, we're going to change the tape. And we have a few hands back there, but, so hold on.
Crystal is the representative.
Okay.
Well, never mind. Never mind. She can't answer questions without calling.
Okay. So the traffic control plan is just that. I mean, we can plan and plan. But we look forward to working with the county officials from Bernalillo, Santa Fe, as well as Torrance to make sure that we do everything in our power that that doesn't happen again. There were so many, it was this melting pot of unbelievable circumstances that got us there on that day. And based on some reactions, I'm gonna guess everyone didn't get the invitation. We know that we had a disappointing few neighbors actually show up in response to our invitation for, to just touch base with the neighbors and say,
Hold it down.
to just touch
She has the floor, she's speaking.
touch base with them and let them, we did make an attempt to, and I apologize if you didn't get the extended invitation. So with that being said, all I can really assure you at this point is that we will do our best and anything we can do in working in conjunction with the three counties to alleviate that issue from occurring in the future.
You do,
I have a question
Yes.
that ties in with this, because you said in the past, or this last event, you kind of like just turned it over to them. Do you guys have an internal policy or any guidelines on how you're going to be working in the future with other events where people come to you and say, I want to use your facility? What is going to be your guideline to ensure this doesn't happen?
We do now, and that's that we'll never let anyone handle their own traffic on our property ever again. Ultimately, we're responsible for it at the end of the day in the eyes of our neighbors, the county, and rightfully so. We take full responsibility for every event that happens out there. And despite our best efforts, it turned into a traffic nightmare. We don't argue that fact at all. Moving forward, we won't have those same assumptions. We'll take full responsibility for parking, personnel, traffic control, and play the only role in conjunction with the counties to make sure that everything's done that can be done to prevent that from happening.
Mr. Maxwell, do you have any questions?
Pull your speaker.
gonna have 200 to 500 people in there, and they'll be in there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and won't leave later 9 at night. But if they have night shooting, it'll be all night. I don't know if anybody has thought about that, or that's usually the way they work. And, yeah, I guess.
That's good information, and I think we would have
to the
to,
podium.
I'm sorry.
Go to the podium, please.
Yes.
I have a voice that carries. I'm sorry, I interrupted you and I don't think you were finished.
The other question I had is if it's passed, what is gonna be the enforcement, accountability and all of that, if none of this, if everything it says is gonna be done, doesn't get done? Permit be jerked or what?
I think that's a question to the county commission. I'm not sure on that one. In reference to the movie set type of thing, it's good to know that you've seen that and it's 4:30 in the morning. I think we would have to handle each of those case by case. What is it that you're filming? What is it you want to do? What are the hours? And we certainly can limit, through agreement with that particular party, of when and where they can film. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I guarantee you it don't work that way.
Well, then maybe we won't have any movies.
No, I mean, the producers, they change their mind. I've seen stuff 6 times in 3 hours. Or, you know, location. It's hard to work with.
Steve, you had something?
Well, he asked the question of what the commission would do if they were violating their use. Similarly, if there is evidence found, like in the case of their conditional use permit, where they had advertised opening to the public, and of course, you know, these other, what's going on with this mic? These other extra societal deals, you know, I issued them a notice of violation, verbal one, and then we arranged meetings, and then with their counsel and our counsel, and then, you know, we had taken it and reported it to the county commission. If this special use is granted them, or not, either way, if there's evidence that we get that we can address on them and they don't come into what's the word I want? Compliance with the ordinance and the limitations of their permit, then I can take that to the county commission and ask them to revoke that use.
On our format sheet here, it says, item number 5, Chair may allow limited questions on the floor. And I really